Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, my kids. Today, inshallah, we are going to revise theme 4, chapter 2, titled Communicating Our Culture. Let's see the first question. Choose the correct answer. Number 1, art and music communicate culture or weather? Do you remember art and music communicate what? Of course, they communicate culture. Number 2, we make woven picture using stones or threads. Yeah, excellent. Using the threads. Folk tales are space stories that communicate our culture. Do you remember folk tales? Are they written stories or spoken stories? They are spoken stories that communicate our culture. Number 4, space pass from a generation to another. What pass from a generation to another? Watches or traditions? Yes, excellent. They are traditions. The national anthem is unique or ordinary song about Egypt. Is it unique or ordinary? Yes, sure, it's unique. The national anthem is a unique song for every country. Let's complete choosing the correct answer. Pottery is made of glass or mud? Yes, of course. Excellent, students. Made of mud. Number 2, the neighboring countries affect each other what? Each other culture or each other land? The neighboring countries. They affect each other culture. Culture is the way of living or flying of a group of people. Culture is the way of what? Living or flying? Is the way of living, of course. Number 4, each city in Egypt has football team or anthem. Of course, each city has football team, but the anthem for all cities in Egypt is the same. People live in large cities have museum or farms. Of course, in large cities we have museum. Let's see the next question. Also, choose the correct answer. What is popular in Sohag? In Sohag. Asaya dance or bagpipe music? Do you remember? Asaya dance is popular in Sohag. Number 2, people of Sinai play American music or bagpipe music? Of course, they play bagpipe music. Sohag is famous for cotton or palm trees? Of course, they are famous for cotton. While Sinai is famous for palm trees, of course. Sinai is famous for palm trees, but Sohag is famous for cotton. Materials used in mosaic art could be glass or stones, or both of them. Of course, both of them, glass and stones. Let's read the following paragraphs about Sinai and Sohag. Then, represent the differences and similarities in Venn diagram. Do you see? Look here at this map. This is here, Sohag. It lies on the River Nile. It lies on the River Nile. This is Sinai in the east of Egypt. Okay, let's read together. In Sohag, so we are talking here about Sohag. In Sohag, people wear jalabiya. People wake up early to water their farms. People raise sheep and sometimes use donkeys in transportation. Most of lands in Sohag are farms, of course, because it lies on the river Nile. So they have good mud to plant crops. Okay, let's see in Sinai. In Sinai, here in the east of Egypt, in Sinai, people wear galabeya too. So they are also wear galabeya like in Sohag. People raise sheep and sometimes they use camels in transportation. So we said that in Sohag, people wear galabeya. Also in Sinai, people wear galabeya. So this is similarity between the two cities. We said in Sohag that people raise sheep. Also in Sinai, people raise sheep. Of course, it's another similarity. In Sohag, people sometimes use donkeys in transportation, while in Sinai, people use camels in transportation. Let's see what about the land in Sinai. Most of lands in Sinai are desert. As you see here in the map, most of land, desert. Okay, so the land in Sohag is farms, but the land in Sinai is desert. This is, of course, difference. Let's complete the Venn shape. Do you remember the Venn shape? This is Sohag and this is Sinai. Let's here write the similarities and here we write the differences. We said that the similarities are people wear galabeya. Number two, people raise sheep. What are the differences in Sohag? People use donkeys in transportation, while in Sinai, people use camels in transportation. In Sohag, most of lands, there are farms, while in Sinai, most of lands, there is desert. Excellent, students. Next question. Let's complete using the words in the World Bank. We have the same Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, different, Sham al-Nasim, internet. Number one, space, make it easy for us to share our culture. What make it easy for us to share our culture? Of course, the internet, it's a way to share our culture. Okay, number two, we celebrate what, and what. We celebrate three things in Egypt. What are they? Do you remember? We celebrate Ramadan as now. We are in Ramadan now. Eid al-Fitr, it comes after Ramadan. And Sham al-Nasim. We celebrated it few days ago, okay? We celebrated Sham al-Nasim few days ago. And now we are celebrating Ramadan. After Ramadan, we are going to celebrate Eid al-Fitr, inshallah. Number three, different regions of Egypt have space music and space anthem. Of course, different regions of Egypt have different music and the same anthem, different music, as we said that in Sohag, they have Asaya dance, while in Sinai, they play bagpipe music. Each city has its own music, but they have the same national anthem of Egypt, okay? Right or wrong, each region of Egypt has its unique music. Of course, we said that this is right. Traditions cannot be changed from a generation to another. Wrong, it can be changed. Yes, traditions pass from generation to another, but we can change it. Okay? As we saw in the story of Noor and Hussam, do you remember? When Hussam came to Cairo, he used to celebrate Sham al-Nissim on the beach, okay? But when he came to Cairo, he couldn't know how could he celebrate. Noor also used to celebrate Sham al-Nissim by going to Al-Azhar Park, but she helped her friend Hussam to celebrate together. They changed their tradition and they celebrate by going on a riverboat on the River Nile. Do you remember this story? I hope you remember. Number 3, the national anthem provides us a lot of values. Of course, this is right. The national anthem provides us a lot of values. We put on new clothes and eat traditional cookies in Ramadan. No, of course, we do it in Eid al-Fitr. We put on new clothes and eat traditional cookies in Eid al-Fitr. Number 5, traditions are affected by the place we live in. Of course, this is right. Traditions affected by the place we live in. Number 6, people live in the desert rely on boats as a transportation means. People live in desert, rely on boats? Of course not. Rely on boats how? In desert there is no water. So they rely on camels as a transportation mean. Hearing our national anthem is a great honor. Of course, this is right. Let's complete right or wrong. Poetry is popular in Delta, where there is mud and water. Of course, we said that Delta is a rich agriculture area in Egypt. So there is wonderful mud and water to make poetry. Mosaic art is about forming a picture from small pieces of colorful glass or stones. Of course, this is right. Number 3, art isn't a way of communication. This is of course not. We said that art and music is a way of communication, or are 2 ways of communication, art and music. The different cultures have similarities, yes. Yes, different cultures have similarities, as we see in Sohag and Sinai. Each city have its own culture, but there are some similarities between the 2 cities. Number 5, mosaic doesn't help in sharing culture. Of course, this is not true. Number 6, weaving in Egypt is a new art. No, of course, it's an old art. Weaving is a way to share our culture. Of course, this is right. Let's complete right or wrong. Culture of some regions in Egypt could be influenced by culture of the countries near them. Of course, we said that this is right. Do you remember when we said that the culture of each city or Egypt exactly or definitely influenced by the culture of Sudan, like in Aswan, for example. The culture in Aswan is influenced by the culture in Sudan. It's near its border of Egypt. It's near the border of Egypt. So, culture of some regions, of course, in Egypt could be influenced by culture of countries near them, like Sudan. Number 2, colorful houses are popular in Aswan. Yes, this is right. Culture doesn't change from one place to another. This is wrong. We said that culture changes from one place to another. Aswan has a good mud needed for pottery industry. Of course, this is right, as Aswan is located on the River Nile, so it has a very good mud to make pottery. Sinai is located at the east of Egypt. We said that this is right sentence. This was the end of our revision today. See you, goodbye, and thank you for listening.